Hello all and welcome to the latest in the series of our hot products videos here at Craft Mania. Now hopefully you've already found us on YouTube and you're watching on our YouTube channel Crafting with Jamie Rodgers and Craft Mania. If you are, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Today we're going to be taking a little look at StampCuts. Now this is a brand new style of die cut from Sue Wilson. Now I have a few of the designs here already laid out for you, and they're sort of mixed out into Christmas designs, butterflies, flowers. There's a whole host of these going on, and I think they're one of the most undiscovered, most amazing products that has been launched in 2021. I think they're incredible. Now, you may be wondering, what is a stamp cut and how do they differ from an ordinary die, and why is he so enthusiastic about these? Well, to begin with, stamp cuts are a different colour to a traditional Sue Wilson die, to give you an idea. So in this hand we have a bow from one of the Christmas releases. You can see it's a a lighter shade of copper. Stamp cuts are a slightly darker one. When you also receive them, they have sort of a more waxy feel to the top of them. You're going to feel that there is a coating on the top. That is where the magic happens. The coating will accept ink. So it means that we can ink this and die cut it in one go, and we will end up with a stamped die cut image. Honestly, game changer. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our Vasen Creative die cutting machine. Now this is just my machine of choice. You can be using whichever machine you wish to. As long as the die fits into the machine and you're used to using thin metal dies, these will work a treat. Do not panic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of copy paper, because I want to protect my mats, and I'm going to put that directly onto the top of my magnetic mat. Now this machine is really lovely because it does come with a magnetic mat, so it means my dies don't move. The machine of course is available from Craft Mania as well, but it's not about the machine today, it's all about the dies. So it's just nice to know that they're not going to move around. Now everybody has a different format, or a lot of people have a different format on how they like to use these dies. I know Sue Wilson, obviously our designer, does use them slightly differently to what I do. She will take them off and put the die onto a rubber mat and ink over the top of it, and then bring it back to her machine and send it through. Personally, I'm a bit more messy. If we're being honest, you can probably tell by my hands, I'm a bit of a hands-on crafter. So instead, how I tend to use them is I will actually put the die on top of the piece of copy paper on my plates. I'm then going to bring in my ink. Now for this I'm going to use VersaFine Clair, but I'm going to show you through the next couple of bits that we do different inks, because I'm yet to find an ink which I can't work with these stamp cuts. So genuinely everything I have tried has worked a dream. I'm going to go across the top of my stamp cut with my ink pad just to make sure I've got a good coverage on there. I'm then going to take a piece of coconut white card and I'm going to pop this on top. Now one difference between the way I do this and the way Sue does it. I've put ink all the way around my paper. Now this may well transfer onto my card and it might damage more of my card or ink part of my card. If you're worried about this, simply move the die cut down or the stamp cut down with a pokey tool and remove the piece of paper. Or do it as Sue does and ink it and bring it onto your plates. The choice is yours. I personally know that there's very little chance I'm going to use the area around this die cut, so I'm not particularly worried about that. But do as you would, do as you feel fit. With one pass through my machine, that ink will now transfer onto my card. Please excuse my very slippery mat I'm working on today in the studio. But we can now take off our cutting mat, we can take off our die cut, and we can see that we have stamped and cut absolutely perfectly in one pass through our machine. Now, if you find, and I haven't on this one, this one's perfect, I'm more than happy with it. If you find that you have an area on your stamp cut which hasn't transferred the ink, you might find, depending on the colour of ink you used, that you just missed an area. Obviously, depending on the colour of ink, we're working on a dark surface. So just take your die cut, pop it back on top of your die and just rub your finger over the top, and it will transfer that ink and really make your stamping a bit darker. When we then bring this up again, we tap out our die cut. There we go. You will then see that that's a slightly darker impression. I only do this if I've missed an area. It's not something you need to do. It's more if you find there's an area you've missed on your stamp cut. Now you may be wondering, why do I need this? We've had stamps, we've had dies, both of them coordinate perfectly. And we do sets of matching stamps and dies that you can put together. Well, a couple of different bits with this. For a start off, the biggest difference to me is that I don't have to line anything up. I'm not stamping and then trying to line my die up over the top, or worse, die cutting and then trying to play target practice with my stamp to line it up. I know that in one pass through my machine, it's already done for me. So there is no faffing with this. It's also a speed thing. So I've saved time on doing this. I don't need lots of platforms and stamping presses and bits like that. All I needed was my one die cutting machine already, and it's already created that effect. I'm going to take this one out of the way, and we're going to bring in a different one just to show you again a different idea. So we're going to bring in one of the flowers. This time we're going to use some Make Art inks by Wendy Vecchi. So obviously we used Versaclear for the last one. This one we're going to use Make Art. This is a dye-based ink. This is Carnation Red. Again, this is available on the Craftmania website. We can see it's a nice juicy ink pad. It's going nicely over my card. But this is one of them colours that might be a bit harder to see on top of the copper. We're then going to bring in another piece of our coconut white card. I'm going to lay that on top, and we're going to go back to our machine, and we're going to pop this through again. So we'll try and hold on to the machine a little bit better this time on my very slippy mat. We'll send that through. Now obviously with these we could be heat embossing them if we wanted to. So if you want to stamp over your stamp cut with pigment inks, that's not a problem as well. You can of course do that, and then once they come through the other side, we can then heat them as well. So that's our lovely red. So you imagine our lovely poinsettia. So we've got this gorgeous poinsettia. I'll show you some finished cards of this shortly. You could have actually done this on sort of a light red cardstock and then used a dark red ink pad over the top to create sort of a tone on tone effect. That would have worked well. I'm now going to take this one away. I'm going to turn our paper inside out. I just want to show you a few different inks really. I've also used colour cloud inks for these. There's a whole host of colours and different ways we can be using them. So I'm going to next go for some Distress Oxide, Stormy Sky. I'm trying to think of inks you might have already lurking in your stash. And we're going to go over the top of our lovely stamp cut this time with our Stormy Sky. This one of course is the Hydrangea, which is another one of the stamp cuts. Now you might be wondering, why can't I do this with all of my dies? Why are these different? What's going on with these? What's sewed on to make these ones so special? It literally is the coating that these dies have been covered in that mean that they will take the ink will stay on top of them, and that it will transfer off onto your card and onto your die cut. So it is really quite a bit of magic involved in this, I feel. And it's so simple to do. You think of, we've only been talking a couple of minutes and we've already done 2 of these. We're on to our 3rd. They're not complicated. They're very easy to do, and you get incredible results with them. Pop that one out of the way and get rid of our card again. We can lift this one out. And this time we have that lovely Distress Oxide in Stormy Sky working on that one. So we've now got our Stormy Sky, we've got that lovely red one, we've got our black version. As I mentioned, we could be doing these with embossing powders as well. Or if you want to, I'm going to show you a completely different idea, you don't actually have to ink them at all. If you want to or wish to, you could just cut them. Literally just cut them. So this time we're going to go, let's go for another butterfly actually. So I've got an example I want to show you with you using one of the butterfly ones. So I'm going to pop my butterfly onto my mat again. This time I'm going for some silver mirror card. I'm going to pop that on the top. I've purposely gone for mirror card because I think this is amazing. So because of all that detail that our stamp cuts do, all of that extra area that you can ink on and work with, it also means that when the die goes through the machine, it sort of engraves them. So when we bring this out and we pop that out here, and we'll bring you in close as we can for this, you can see that we've engraved all of those details onto your dies. So whether you're using plain cardstock or like this, some mirror card, you've got texture already there, even if you don't want to do anything with it. Now, if you wish to, you could take a StazOn ink pad, for instance. I should have brought one in with me actually. But if you took a StazOn ink pad and brushed that over the top of the mirror card, it's going to highlight all the top texture and leave all them engraved silver lines shining through. I've got that in examples I will show you, I promise. Equally, if you had some gilding wax or metallic polishes or one of the other Cosmic Shimmer products or any other products on the market come to that, and you wanted to just dab your finger in it and rub it over the top of a die cut, you're just going to highlight that top cut part again, and you're going to have all them engraved lines that can shine through in whichever cardstock you've chose to use. So that's really how your stamp cuts work. Obviously, depending on the inks you're working with or whether you choose to emboss them, you could then go on to paint on them or use polishes, as I mentioned, or different products. So it really is up to you. I'm going to bring in a whole pile of cards here to show you a few of the ways I've used mine and just chat slightly about them. So this one's one of the butterflies. This time I've actually heat embossed using some gold embossing powder, and I've painted in my butterfly using a watercolour palette, again from Cosmic Shimmer. I've also used that on the background here, and the background is actually on our blog, which is on the Craftmania website, if you'd like to know more about how the background of that one was created. Again, if you don't wish to ink them and you just wish to cut them, these are 2 layers of the butterfly done in white card, and then I've used some Sahara Gold Glitter Kiss to just go over the top and pick up the texture which is created when the die goes through the machine, similar to what I show you on the Silver Mirror card. This one's one of our lovely blue shades of foundations card we have on the Craftmania website, and all I've done is heat embossed in white over the top of my different stamp cuts to give you a different idea. Then if we carry on, so here's another couple, and I'll just bring up the wings on these because the butterflies always look more special when they're 3D, don't they? They get a bit compact in the piles of cards. So these again, I haven't stamped them, I've just cut them, and I've actually done that out of a sheet of card which I've done some watercolour backgrounds on, similar to the first card I show you, which again instructions for are on the blog. This background panel here, that's also on the blog as well, telling you how to make the background. So you might wish to check the blog out on our website. This one's one that's actually been coloured in with some alcohol markers, so it's been stamped in black memento, coloured in with alcohol markers, and then we've gone over the top with clear embossing powder to give it a lovely glazed finish. So again, no reason why we can't colour on top of these with alcohol markers and bits. Then we have just our silver butterfly again, so just engraved, showing you how you can actually take that piece I was holding up and turn it into a card very easily, if you wish to. Then we have another couple here, so this one's one of our smaller ones. This is actually the stamp cut in question, and I've joined it together to make the top and bottom of the card here. I've coloured it in with alcohol markers, and once again I've glazed it with clear embossing powder. Then, oh, this is one I did want to show you. These are using the butterflies, gold mirror card this time, and then I've gone over the top with that black stays on pad like I mentioned, and that's highlighted all of that gold indentation that the die has done for you. If we open this card up as well, on the inside we have a couple of the other designs as well, showing you how that's going to work. It doesn't have to just be the butterfly. That black stays on is really going to go over the top of any of the detail and just highlight the engraved effect. If we move on, I have a couple here that again have been stamped with memento, coloured in with the watercolour palette, and then had some Frosty Sparkle Glitter Kiss put over the top of them. And then we go on to the poinsettia for this next design. So the poinsettias this time are using the rich red cardstock. They've been stamped in black Versa Clair or Versa Fine Clair, and then in the middles I've just added some 3D accents to them. And I have a few more to share with you. I hope you're enjoying these. Few more to share. This one is cut out of black cardstock, just using the embossed effect, so no stamping on these. I've then used my finger, gone into a watercolour palette, one of the Cosmic Shimmer ones, just brought out the actual paint and rubbed it over the top of the flowers to pick up the tone of the top card. Once again, leaving that engraved bit as it was. Then we have a couple more of the poinsettias on this card too, just showing you again how we can spread them about, use them in different areas. And there is a couple more of these I want to share with you. Another poinsettia one on this one. And then the next poinsettia, this one's quite nice. On this card what I've done is I've actually heat embossed the poinsettias using gold embossing powder. So again, bring in your embossing powders, create different effects with those. There's no reason why you can't use them with your stamp cuts. I think I've shown you those already. And then lastly on the end here, we have another one of just gold mirror card where I've used the poinsettias and the leaves that come included with the poinsettias to just do some engraving on gold mirror card. There's also 2 or 3 3D cards that are standing around on my little desk here to share with you as well. How to construct these will be coming up on one of the Construct with Jamie videos on our YouTube channel shortly. It may already be on there, so do go have a little look and look through that playlist as well. But if not, it will be appearing shortly and showing you how you can make these 3D cards, which do actually fold down flat. But they are quite a nice way to share with you some of our stamp cuts, again, done in different ways and fashions. So I hope if you had stamp cut questions that answered your questions, and I really do believe you will love them. Bring in all of your inks, bring in your embossing powders, play around with them and see how you get on. If you've enjoyed today's video, if you've picked up some techniques, if you want to see more about the cards, then check out our Facebook group, which is Create with Craftmania and Jamie Rodgers. Just pop on there, answer a couple of questions, and then once you've been creating with these products, we would love to see what you've been doing. Pop up your cards, share with us your ideas, share with us your hints and tips, and join in with our design brief challenge. Don't forget to like us on YouTube as well. Hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to get notifications. And once again, don't forget all of the products that we've shared with you in today's video are of course available from Craftmania. The address for that one is www.craftmaniacrafts.com. We are UK based. If you spend over £5, your P&B is completely free. If you are shopping with us internationally, it's capped at just £10. Thank you so much for watching this product focus, or hot products I should say, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.